Now, health bosses have agreed that the NHS app should be used by patients to shop around for hospitals with the shortest waiting lists for treatment. Idea? What do you think of it? Is it a good strategy or a distraction from the real problem?
It's a complete distraction from the real problem, which is staffing, staffing, staffing. An app doesn't solve that. It really doesn't. And already I'm having to make decisions at the moment. I work in Birmingham, particularly deprived area, and getting referrals from all over the place, and having to not take referrals, um, from far away, because can't see my own patients, my own area. So it'll worsen health inequalities. So essentially, uh, you know, elderly person, frail, may be less likely to have access to an app, for example. So I'm saying that someone, posh person from Solihull, I should see ahead of poor person from Sandwell. I think it'll make health inequalities worse. This has been looked at time and time again. So, as a neurologist, we have got one of the lowest number of neurologists per head of population, only beaten by Ireland in Europe. So unless we deal with the staffing issue, I'm afraid this will not solve things one bit. It's a complete distraction.
Are out of area referrals, as you were talking about there, normally readily accepted? Is that something that goes on all the
It
time?
it depends. I can give you some examples. I've had people making referrals. Oh, please, can you see this patient from Starbridge because the wait in Birmingham is so long when there's a local hospital there. Well, I've got my own problems where I am. So it's like shuffling the deck chairs in the Titanic.
Mm.
And those people in first class who are more likely to have an app, or will get further ahead than those people in third class, and that's not fair.
I think more than 6.7 million people are now waiting for routine treatment. And I sort of read out that figure and then you let it sink in. And it's astonishing, really, isn't it? If you think that these are people who are in varying degrees of distress with
Absolutely.
medical conditions that need tackling, and those figures are expected to keep growing for the next 18 months. So if not an app, what do we need to do to solve
Well,
to solve the backlog? What do we need to do to make the NHS actually work?
Royal College of Physicians has been calling for some time for a doubling of the number of medical students. This week, we were told that medical student numbers would go back to pre-pandemic levels. It's this failure to deal with the staffing issue, just keeps happening. And I don't know what this is, addiction to technology. Also this week, Babylon, famously in primary care, promised that they were going to lead a huge difference in terms of access to primary care by using a Babylon app, and their share price has plummeted. So basically the stock market is realizing that this is BS basically, and unless we deal with the staffing issue, we've made a political choice to have less doctors per head of population than other comparable countries. That's a fact. Unless we deal with that fact, we're still going to have this issue keeping up again and again and again.